People don't test strength, they test boundaries. And the moment they sense uncertainty, inconsistency, or emotional availability, the testing begins automatically, not consciously. Testing is not aggression. It is curiosity mixed with opportunity. People push lightly first to see if something moves. Most tests are small: a comment, a delay, a tone change. They are designed to measure reaction, not resistance. The mistake most people make is responding as if the test is serious. Power recognizes testing for what it is: a probe, not a threat. Every reaction teaches people how to treat you. Fast reactions invite escalation. Emotional reactions invite repetition. This is why people test those who explain themselves, those who justify, those who rush to correct perception. Testing feeds on access. Power handles tests by not answering the question being asked. It answers with behavior, slow, neutral, unchanged. When a test produces no reaction, confusion replaces confidence, and confidence is what testing depends on. This is the first rule of power. Never treat a test as important, because importance is exactly what the test is trying to extract. When a small test produces no reaction, it doesn't stop immediately. It changes form. People increase pressure slightly, searching for a response they can work with. The tone becomes sharper. Timing becomes intentional. What looked accidental becomes deliberate, not to dominate, but to confirm access. This is where most people fail. They respond emotionally to escalation, assuming seriousness where there is only curiosity. Power does not correct behavior mid-test. Correction rewards the test with attention. Silence starves it instead. Escalated tests depend on emotional friction. Remove friction and escalation collapses into awkwardness. At this stage, testers begin doubting their read. Was there an opening? Did they miscalculate? Uncertainty replaces confidence. Power never signals victory during a test. Victory ends the test. Indifference prevents the next one. Most people escalate tests to regain control. When control doesn't return, they disengage quietly. This disengagement is not respect yet. It is calculation, and calculation always precedes distance. Power doesn't stop tests by confronting them. It stops tests by making them pointless. The most common test is never direct. It hides behind humor. A joke allows disrespect to retreat safely if challenged, and advance if tolerated. A joke test is not about humor, it's about range. How far can they go before something pushes back? Most people fail here by laughing too quickly. Laughter is read as permission. Permission invites repetition. Others fail by overcorrecting, defending themselves, explaining boundaries. Both responses reward the test with information. Power handles joke tests by not matching tone. No forced laughter, no visible offense. Neutral presence breaks the disguise instantly. When humor fails to move you, it stops being funny. Awkwardness replaces playfulness, and awkwardness ends testing. People test with jokes because jokes feel safe. When safety disappears, they retreat without confrontation. Power never corrects humor verbally. It corrects it atmospherically by making disrespect feel out of place. Once a joke fails, future tests lose creativity. They become rare. Eventually, they stop. This is why powerful individuals appear humorless to some, not because they lack warmth, but because they refuse to trade respect for comfort. Not all tests speak. Some withdraw. Silence is used to make you lean forward to see if you will chase clarity. Delayed replies are tests. Short answers are tests. Being forgotten is often intentional. Most people respond by overreaching. Double texts, explanations, extra effort that wasn't requested. This reaction confirms something important to the tester, that silence controls you, and control invites escalation. Power responds to silence with stability, not speed, not emotion. Consistency removes leverage. When you don't chase silence, silence loses its purpose. It becomes awkward for the person using it. Passive aggression depends on uncertainty. Once your rhythm stays unchanged, the test collapses quietly. This is why powerful people seem unaffected. They are not numb. They are unmovable. Silence is meant to pull you off balance. When it doesn't, respect begins to recalibrate. And from that moment on, tests change tone, because silence no longer scares you. Some tests challenge you directly, others disguise themselves as competition. Comparison is the quiet weapon. They talk about wins, numbers, status, achievements, unasked. The goal isn't inspiration, it's reaction. They want to see if you measure yourself against them. Most people respond by proving, explaining, competing louder than necessary. That response reveals hunger, and hunger invites dominance games. Power never races, it chooses pace, and pace defines hierarchy. When you don't compete, comparison collapses. There's no mirror to measure against. This unsettles competitive minds. They don't know where they stand with you. Uncertainty removes leverage, and leverage is the only reason tests exist. When competition fails, respect replaces pressure. Because power doesn't need to win, it already stands apart. Some tests stop being logical. They become emotional. Mood shifts, energy changes, reactions are expected. Sudden coldness is a test. Sudden warmth is also a test. Emotional unpredictability is used to see your center. Most people get pulled in. They adjust tone. They mirror emotion. They lose position without realizing it. Emotion is leverage when it moves you. It becomes powerless when it doesn't. Power never matches emotion. It lets emotion pass through, like weather. This creates confusion because emotional testers expect echo, not silence. When you stay centered, emotional pressure loses rhythm. There is nothing to push against. This is why powerful people feel distant, not because they don't feel, but because they don't leak. Emotional control changes hierarchy. People stop testing. They start adjusting. And once emotion fails as a weapon, only respect remains, or distance. Eventually, tests stop being emotional. They stop being competitive. They become practical. People begin touching your limits, time, availability, tolerance, to see where resistance starts. Late requests are tests. Last-minute demands are tests. Assumptions about your compliance are never accidents. Most people respond by adjusting. They stretch, they accommodate, they convince themselves it's temporary. But every adjustment is noted. Every exception becomes expectation. Boundaries once moved rarely return. Power handles boundaries quietly. No speeches, no anger. Just consistency that doesn't explain itself. When your no sounds natural, not emotional, not defensive, people stop negotiating. Boundaries enforced without tension feel immovable. They don't invite arguments. They end conversations. This is where hierarchy stabilizes. People sense what won't move, and they adapt accordingly. Those who respected you already stay close. Those who tested you drift. Both outcomes are correct. Boundaries aren't walls. They are signals, and power makes them visible without force. Disrespect rarely arrives loudly. It starts as tone, a pause, a look held too long. Small shifts meant to check how much you'll tolerate. Interruptions are tests. Jokes that miss the mark are tests. Ignoring your words is a test disguised as accident. Most people react emotionally. They correct. They confront. They explain why the moment mattered. But reaction is what disrespect feeds on. It confirms that pressure worked, that the line was crossed successfully. Power doesn't argue with disrespect. It adjusts distance, access changes, tone becomes colder, without explanation. This creates immediate imbalance, because disrespect expects engagement, not withdrawal. When access decreases, people replay their behavior. They feel the loss before understanding it. This is why silence after disrespect feels heavy. It removes justification and leaves only reflection. Power doesn't demand respect. It becomes unavailable where respect is missing. Once disrespect costs access, it stops being repeated, or the person disappears entirely. After disrespect fails, people pull back. Less contact, less warmth. Absence becomes the next test. They want to see if you notice, if you reach out, if you try to restore what changed. Most people interpret withdrawal as loss. They chase connection. They explain themselves back into access. But withdrawal is leverage only when it creates urgency. Without urgency, it collapses. Power doesn't rush absence. It matches distance without resentment. It remains whole in silence. This unsettles people because absence was meant to pull you closer, not make you stable. When you don't chase withdrawal, value reappears, or the game ends completely. Power never proves importance. It assumes it quietly. Those who return do so carefully. Those who don't were never aligned. Withdrawal reveals truth faster than confrontation, and power lets it speak. When withdrawal no longer works, tests evolve into provocation. Small remarks, calculated disrespect, behavior designed to pull a reaction out of you, not to communicate but to see if they can move you. Provocation is never random. It targets identity, status, ego, anything that might trigger defense or correction. Most people react instinctively. They correct the statement, they defend the truth, they step into the frame that was set for them. That reaction is the confirmation provokers seek. It tells them where your buttons are, and once known, those buttons get pressed again. Power does something unexpected. It doesn't deny, it doesn't explain, it doesn't correct, because correction accepts the frame. Instead, power slows down, tone flattens, expression stays neutral. The provocation finds no surface to land on. This creates discomfort, because provocation depends on friction. Without friction, the instigator feels exposed. Silence after provocation is not weakness. It is a signal. It says, "You are not important enough to move me." Once provocation fails, the tester either escalates or retreats entirely. Both outcomes restore balance. Power never reacts on cue. It chooses timing. And timing controls perception. That is why provocation rarely works twice. Some tests arrive as small irritations, comments meant to provoke, actions meant to trigger reaction. Most react instinctively. Power doesn't. It observes. It allows temptation to pass, unmoved. Provocation works only if it creates imbalance. Power doesn't react immediately. It remains silent. It shifts nothing. The provoker discovers control is not given. It's demonstrated. Repeated provocations lose power when ignored. Silence becomes authority. Patience becomes influence. Those who test realize the futility. Those who respect see composure as strength. Self-control is quiet power. It cannot be stolen or challenged. It's embodied, not performed. And influence grows silently in those who remain unmoved. Power doesn't prove itself, it demonstrates. And in that quiet, everyone learns the limits without confrontation. All tests follow patterns: disrespect, withdrawal, provocation, temptation. They are designed to see what moves you. Most people react, lose composure, give away control. Power behaves differently. It observes, it measures, it moves when necessary, not because someone pushed. Emotional tests pass through unnoticed. Boundary tests are acknowledged silently. Disrespect is ignored or redirected. Withdrawal is allowed to teach its own lesson. Provocation is met with neutral composure. Temptation is observed without engagement. Every reaction you avoid is power gained. Every silence is authority reinforced. Every unmoved stance signals limits. And those who test learn, in subtle, undeniable ways, that influence is earned by restraint, not by argument or display. Self-control is invisible power. It cannot be challenged directly. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be stolen. It exists quietly in the presence of pressure and reveals itself only through consistent calm. Power is not about proving dominance. It's about maintaining composure, about allowing the world to test without ever being moved unnecessarily. And in that quiet mastery, you become untouchable. Those who respect will align naturally. Those who attempt manipulation will fail. Influence grows silently, boundaries remain intact, and your presence commands recognition without confrontation. Every test is a mirror, every provocation is a lesson, every withdrawal is a revelation. Power does not react, it allows the world to reveal itself. And in that revelation, control is never needed. It already exists. Mastery comes not from confrontation, not from argument, not from explanation. It comes from remaining unmoved, observing, and letting the world's tests fall away, while your presence remains steady, calm, and absolute. The quiet power of composure, the invisible strength of restraint. This is the mastery of human tests, not by fighting the world, but by becoming untouchable within it. And now you know, tests will come. They will push, provoke, and withdraw. But your response is yours alone. Master it, and the world cannot move you.